Good evening, happy stampers, and welcome to Tools and Techniques Thursday. My name is Judi Anderson from judistamps.com, and I am going to apologize because I'm a few minutes late. Some of you may know that I have been having issues with my my laptop this week, and oh my gosh, it took me all day yesterday to get it figured out and help and stuff. But what I didn't realize is everything was erased off my computer. So I've been spending quite a bit of time today putting everything back in. So I must apologize. So let's get started. What do you say? So I'd like to welcome all of my Facebook friends that are watching tonight. Make sure you say hello, give a shout out, and make sure you allow, give StreamYard permission so that you can comment on my video tonight, my live tonight. And if you are a YouTube watcher, thank you for joining, watching on my YouTube channel, judistamps.com, and or actually Judi Stamps and Happy Stamping Studio. So it's been a long couple of days for me. I am just making sure that I am on because I really don't want to do a whole live and to think that you guys aren't seeing anything, right? And that is just my luck lately. So tonight we're going to be doing a fun technique that I learned years ago. But it is really fun, and we're going to do the technique with the Sentimental Swirls, which is in the current mini catalog right now, the stamp set, and then Hand-Penned Petals. I'm not sure how my design is going to look, and that's what's fun about it, because handkerchiefs are all different colors, and a lot of times they have the paisley kind of like print on them. But lately I have been seeing them with floral prints and all different types of things. So I'm going to be showing you a different card tonight that I had made previously. We are going to be using the same layout, except different papers. Okay, so let me turn my camera around and let's get started. Okay, I'll move you up just a little bit. There we go. So our card base is going to be just a basic white 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then we're going to burnish that fold line. Then we have 2 pieces of cardstock. Now, I was saying that handkerchiefs come in all kinds of different colors, right? But we're used to seeing them mainly in red, right? I remember as a child wearing red handkerchiefs around my neck and around my head to catch a little bit later the sweat off my forehead. But when I was in high school, we wore them quite a bit. That was a thing. And I actually liked a lot of different colors. But we're going to be using red for our handkerchief tonight. Then I have Night of Navy because that is another handkerchief color, but we're just going to coordinate that right there with that. Now, I could have used, I think, I was actually going to use the polished pink, but I didn't know how well that would show up on camera. So that is why I am using real red tonight. So we are going to grab our stamp set. And I may be just using this stamp set. For this technique, you do want to use, I have something on my stamp here. You do want to use an outline stamp. Okay, you can use bits and pieces of a solid stamp. And normally I would do a full quarter sheet and then cut off what I need and have the rest of it for the next time. I want to do another card. Usually I do 2 or 3 cards using the scraps from what I've created when I do techniques. I have a tendency of doing larger So I want to take the swirl image because I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And then I think I am going to take this larger flower image, and that will fit on here pretty good. And let me see, I don't want all flower images. So looking at this, I have a couple different leaf images. I could use this one or this one. I could use both, but I think I'm going to use this one. And since we have two of them, one going in each direction, I'm going to get a little bit bigger block, and I'm going to be stamping two at the same time. Now, when you're doing this technique, you do want to do your larger images first and then move down to the small. We could also add the bird on here if you want. It would be totally up to you. You could do anything. You've got a cute little butterfly. You might want to do just a butterfly in one spot, but let's see how we're going to do this technique. So we are going to be using Memento Black, Tuxedo Black, to stamp the images. In a handkerchief, it's usually stamped in black, or not stamped, but printed on there in black. So like I said, we want to start with our larger image. So I am only going to be doing part of the swirl because I don't want it to take up the entire piece. So I think I'm going to have a swirl coming down this way and lift that up. And then we're going to have another swirl, and we can use the other side. We don't have to use, I'm going to ink up all of this because I'm not too sure which part of the stamp I want to use, but I could use any part. That is going to be too busy, I think. So let's go here. And I don't want all of this in it, so I am going to stamp it right down there. Okay, now we are stamping off the edge, which is good because we don't want those angel cards which have those little halos of no stamping along the edges. I'm going to clean my stamp off really quick with my Stampin' Chamois. So let's get that cleaned off. Okay, the next image would be this image, because the floral image, because it is larger. So we are going to stamp that here. I could have, now thinking of it, I could have used one of the smaller images. Let's stamp this here. Okay, I goobered that up, so we're going to flip this over. Oh, I can't believe I did that. I put it down before I wanted to. So let's get this inked up. This was down here, not quite to all that gooberish down there. Let's get that off that edge. Always two sides to every paper, and there are no mistakes in stamping, just opportunities. Okay, I want this here. No, so I am thinking of my images that I have that I'm putting on here. Now we are going to be using our chalk marker, and we've been using our white craft pad lately and our chalk marker. And I just thought this is another technique that would be fun to teach all of you how to do. So I do know I want to stamp 3 of these on here. So let's stamp this one here. I'm going to stamp this one off the edge. And this one we're going to have, oh dear, I should have used the smaller flowers, but that's okay. That's touching. It's quite all right. Now I want to go in with these leaves, and I may end up taking the 2 leaves apart. I'm not too sure. Okay, yep. I'm going to take this one off. We're just going to stamp this one right in here. And let's stamp this one here and this one here. Now that's enough. We don't want it too busy. You know what, on handkerchiefs there sometimes are a lot of spacing. Okay, let's close that up. The next thing we're going to use is our basic black Stampin' Right marker. And I know that some of you are very particular when you do some stitching to make it look like sewing. I am not. If you are, let me grab my quilter's ruler. You could hold this along the edge like this, measuring how far in you want it. And then I know some of you sit there and do it every so often. I don't do that. I'm not that particular. I just start and I do my stitching. And so we're going to do stitching. So like this is a handkerchief, and it's got the stitching all the way around the outside. Now sometimes the stitching is white, and when we used to have our gel pen, which was the best gel pen out there in the market, I'll tell you, I use my gel pen for this. But I wanted to show you how you can use your chalk marker also. You will get a little bit fatter lines, perhaps, than you would with a gel pen, but you get the same effect. Now, I'm going to tell you, you can also take your white craft pad and you can stamp perhaps some white outlined images on here too if you wanted. You could fill in some of these using the whitewash technique. But there we go. So far, right? Okay, you're thinking, okay, Judy, that doesn't look like one of those bandanas, right? That's what I was trying to, I kept calling it kerchief, but it's called the kerchief technique, but it's bandana. So what I'm going to do now, and you might get my head in here a little bit, is I am going to go and using the very, very tip of this and not pressing down too hard because I want these to look like stitched lines. I'm just going to go along and make little stitch lines around all of these. Okay, here, it's just part way. Here, I'm going to go to the outside again. And you want to decide which side you want your stitching on, and I'll show you in just a second what I'm talking about, especially when you have swirls. And I want to tell you, I usually do some kind of a swirl image on my bandanas. On here, you could choose to go on the inside or the outside. I like going to the outside. And in the sample I show you, you're going to see the difference because I, on purpose, did one on the inside so you could see the difference. And I just, it's up to you if you want to do it on the inside of a swirl or the outside. But we're just doing little dots, all the kind of like stitch dots. Some of them are dots, some of them are more like stitches. You don't want to rub over them right away because they will smear. Okay, we're just going to keep going around all these images because we are concentrating on the technique tonight more than the card that we're going to make, right? That's what this is all about. Okay, these go off the edge. So we're going to have some stitching there. Now, do you see the center of these flowers? You might want to just whitewash it a little bit with your pen. And that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do this one over here and hopefully not smear it. Okay, this one here, it's going to get a little bit, and we're going to do our stitching around these petals. And that's really all that's to it. It kind of reminds me of that fad that was going on, probably about 5-6 years ago, where you were doodling and you were doodling around images kind of like this. So I can't remember the name of that. So if you remember the name of what that's called, let me know. Now I'm pressing a little bit harder there, so my stitches were a little bit fatter. I don't want to do that. So just a light touch, you guys. Now, if you find that your chalk pen, your chalk marker is not really doing it deep enough, you can go into your white craft. You can either pick up ink here or pick up ink here. See, I still have ink from those other techniques I did. And just pick that up and go from there. And then you'll have a little bit darker. You don't have to press as hard. So, I will pick up ink like that when I find that the very tip seems to be drying out. Mine isn't drying out right now because mine is on the newer side. I have not used it much, but so I am going to go around. But see how much stronger of a white that is than these? And you can mix and match. I would, if you're going to do that, what I would do is I would not start at one end and go to the other end. I do this image, then I do an image down here, then I do an image over here. Jump around doing your images, because then your pen or your chalk marker won't seem like it's real dark at one end and then lighter at the other end. But that's just a tip to help you if your chalk marker is on the kind of drier side. Now I did the top of that. I should have done actually the bottom because I could go down to the stem. So I'm doing both sides of that one. And believe me, nobody's really going to notice except for you. Okay, I started pressing too hard again. Okay, I'm going to go down here and just do these. I am going to pick this up on this side. This part of the swirl, I should have probably started down here and moved up. But like I said, it really doesn't matter, you guys. Look at that. Here, so I'm going to bring it closer. So look at that. Isn't that fun? I just love it. Good evening, Marilyn. How are you? So I don't know why I tipped it in there. It's there. So in my mind, I'm supposed to dip it in. Okay, we're just going to put some lines here. So this is a very relaxing technique. I like doing this technique sitting and watching TV after I've had a hard day out in my garden. And I'm going to go around here. Or if I walked extra long that day, and I'm telling you, I'm kind of out of shape. I've been walking, but feeling it. So now, if you wanted, and we have time here, I could go along both sides of that, but I really don't think you need it. I think I am going to go around both sides just on this one to start out with. I may end up going around all of them. Let's see how it looks. I don't like it to get too busy looking. All of these just like that. It's only a couple lines because I didn't do too many swirls on here. But if you have any stamp sets, I know quite a few years ago we had some stamp sets that had paisleys in them. Oh my gosh, I used to do this technique with that, those stamp sets, and oh my gosh, so cute. Okay, so we did that. We colored the insides. You could also choose to color the inside of the leaves, but to me, there's usually not as much white on your bandanas as the black. So we've got that. Now, I'm telling you, this is a super simple card. What we could do, and I'm debating on it. I could take and do a pattern on here in white. And I don't want to use the same images. So I think I'm going to. I think I am going to just for fun, you know. Let's pick out, oh, I don't want this swirl. Let's pick out the butterfly, the outline of the butterfly. I have to find it. No, that's that. Okay, hang on a second. Here's the butterfly. The butterflies kind of look like flowers. So we're going to use that. And I do want kind of a swirl motion without a lot of swirl. So I think we're going to use this leaf. So let me grab my block. And I just want to make a pattern on here. Once again, starting with my larger image. Okay, so let me get my butterfly on here. And okay, I gotta Let me see if I can do it over the top of that. If not, we'll flip it to the side. Yeah, we're going to flip it to the other side. Okay, now I will stamp and you will notice that I turn my paper. I don't like to worry a whole lot about where I'm stamping these and what direction I'm stamping them in. So I begin to turn my paper. Now I perhaps put a little bit too many on because I forgot I'm putting butterflies on here. So let's get some butterflies. We're going to do those butterflies towards in those blank spaces. So that's why you do your larger image first and your smaller image next. And you could even, if you wanted, you could emboss this with white embossing powder. So this one this way. Okay, I'm going to just put a little bit of a wing there so we don't have such a big white space. Okay, so we're going to let that dry for just a second. Let me cleaning off these. So like I said, we could have stamped this even with the black instead. It wouldn't show up and wouldn't pop as much if we stamped the Night and Navy with the black. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. Turn it upside down. Let's get our Stampin' Seal. And we're going to attach this. Now both cards have the same layout, like I said. I'm just going to put this right here. Tap that, let that dry for just a second. We're going to go ahead and put this one. Isn't this cute? I mean, I just love it. So simple. And you know, Daffodil Delight would be cute. I remember not too long ago, I had some bandanas that were yellows and lime green. How about doing a Granny Apple Green would be awesome. Just have fun with it. Okay, so now we're going to take a look here and we're just going to do a hello. So let me grab my hello and we will stamp that. Let me get some of these stamps put back so I don't have too many blacks out here. We are going to use the just the basic black for our hello. Let me get my basic white out here. So I have some scraps here. I just need to get one big enough. So we have this for our hello. We could even, no, we couldn't do it in Night of Navy because we're going to do a layer with Night of Navy. So let's put this towards the center a little bit. So I have some room to work with. We may be putting a butterfly on here. I think I have to trim this just a little bit. Let me grab my snips here. I think I went up too high. Okay, let's grab our hello. And you know what? We're going to have room to put a butterfly on here or a flower, whatever we choose. I think I'm going to do the butterfly. We still have that here. So we're going to go ahead and stamp the butterfly in black. Let that dry for just a second. How many of you have tried this before? Let me know. I'm looking for my real red marker. Oh, cherry cobbler. Hang on just a second. This has got to be real red. Okay. So I am taking the dark real red marker and we are just going to color that butterfly with our blend. Stampin' Blend. Remember, if you stamp in a water base, you want to try to use your alcohol marker to color. You wouldn't have to. Okay, let that dry just a little bit. I want to make sure my memento is good and dark. We're going to grab some Night of Navy, right like that. And let's just take our Stampin' Seal and we are going to put it down like this. so it's offset just a little bit. And then I'm going to get my Stampin' Dimensionals. And let's get some of them on here. We want to raise this up, right? So, yeah, the Sentimental Swirls is in the J2J mini catalog. And I think that this is actually a set that's been kind of overlooked. And I've been having so much fun. And, I thought, you know what? A great set for this technique. So we're just going to put that right on here, right in the center like that. Now, if you wanted, you could do this theme of the stitching. We could actually do stitching around the card if we wanted. I just noticed that's not folded too straight. Okay, so what you would do, and I'm going to go ahead and do it because we have extra time here. We're just going to go ahead and do stitching like this around our card. And that is going to bring that kind of theme we have going on with this. Now, this would also be an awesome technique to use and make cards with several of our masculine sets. I could see the Grassy Grove and even the Well Done stamp set. Even, oh my gosh, the Nuts About You, that one with the little squirrel on it would be just so cute. And just playing and having some fun. And you could do patterns like this on your bandana, and then put a little turtle on here with that little turtle guy. You've got your penguin. That would be cute. How cute for a birthday. If you have any, we have a pirate set in there. I think that would be really cute. Or any, kind of a country theme with horses and things like that. So we have that. So, and I wouldn't stamp too much on the background like that. Now, I told you I was going to show you another card. So here is another card that I created, and I used the Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper along with the Sailing Home stamp set out of the annual catalog. So here is this one. So take a look at that. It's the same idea. Now, it doesn't have quite the same effect because these anchors are kind of stamped in, a little bit more color to them, but I think it still works, right? So I hope you guys enjoy this evening. And until next time, happy stamping.